the point there that for me really resonates so strongly is the mood matching. Because we get into this false belief, right? That if we take on someone else's mood, their energy, their nervous system state, that we're somehow like sharing the load or sharing the burden. Like we believe that we're being supportive, but we're really just creating more chaos.
Yeah.
And we're really being manipulative.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another epic episode of your favorite podcast, High Vibing It. We are very excited to have you here. We are very excited to introduce you to our guest. Today's topic of conversation, well, we never really know because we just let it all unfold. But really, the theme probably is going to be something along the lines of codependency, people pleasing. How can we maybe, I don't want to say heal from it because it makes it seem like there's something wrong with you for being codependent or being a people pleaser, and there's really not, but it's not like the best feeling way to live. So how can we optimize out of that is maybe a better way to say it. And luckily our guest is, I was going to say a specialty in this, but she's not the specialty, even though she is very special. She specializes in this work. It's awesome. And I wish for everyone to watch this on the Patreon so you can see how awesome her hair
please
is,
do.
because everyone needs to witness this on the video. So go to patreon.com/highvibe. Shameless plug there. But yes, today that is what we're talking about. And our very special guest is Miss Victoria Albina. She is a fellow Latina and also Somatic Master Life Coach. And I say fellow Latina because so am I, and so is Lindsay honorarily. Even though she doesn't have Latin blood, she has Latin kids and a Latin husband and a Latin last name, and we're basically sisters, so I make her Latin. So there you have it.
I'm happy to be part of the club for what I can offer.
Yes. So Victoria, all that to say, welcome to the show and thank you for being here.
Hola. Thanks for having me. I'm so stoked to be here. I've been really
We just had a party before we hit record, so you guys are stepping in to a really fun energy. I hope you're ready for it.
Oh yeah.
Victoria, I always love to ask the guests what kind of brought them to where they are, as much or as little as you'd like to share about your journey. I know that it's my favorite thing about every guest is their story. So what brought you to here? What brings you to today?
I'm always tempted to pull a J-Lo and say the 6 train. You know what I mean?
On the 6. Hey.
On the 6. But I spent most of my life on the Q train, so I'm not even going to front. So I am a functional medicine nurse practitioner, master certified somatic life coach. And my passion is helping human socialize as women to heal their lives from codependent, perfectionist, and people-pleasing thinking. And that is my passion because that is my story. So I became a functional medicine NP because I was wicked sick, which to translate is hella sick for the West Coast.
Yes,
and we just want to be inclusive
for
here.
The
I know that's
people
really important.
There. Especially Northern California.
I just think it's important to be inclusive. Right? Yeah. Right. I went to UCSF for my medical training. So I don't want
that's why.
I want them to feel loved.
In Southern California, we don't say hella, but in Northern California, we did say that. So yes.
Wait, what is Southern to you, Kels? Because when I moved to LA, everyone was saying hella. And I was like, what are you guys saying?
Really?
I was from Michigan. We didn't say anything like that.
I never heard people in Southern California
I learned it in LA, but maybe they were from NorCal. Who knows?
Could be.
Who knows?
Anyway,
who knows? It's a wild world.
Sick.
So things. So yeah, so I was wicked hella sick, and I had digestive issues that I got the wastebasket diagnosis of irritable bowel syndrome, which is just like a garbage can diagnosis of we didn't find anything wrong with you, and we have to give you something so that you won't be mad at us and give us a bad Yelp review. And so that was the story. And
real quick, how interesting is it that they named irritable bowel syndrome as an emotion? First of all, that should be your first red flag. Like, that's an emotion, people. That's a state of being.
Right,
that's not a physical diagnosis. Irritable is
that's a really good
state
call.
of being. Anyway, keep going.
Yeah.
Just a note.
Yeah, no, and a really interesting note to contemplate and ponder. But I spent years trying to get well. And what I came to understand is that part of what was making me and keeping me sick was physiologic. I had a parasite, I had bacterial overgrowth, like there was bugses, right? Like there was bugses to point at for sure. And a not insignificant part of what was ailing me was my mental wellness. And I don't mean just like depression and anxiety, because that's what we think of. It was really a mindset, right? Living from a state of codependent experience, in which I was putting myself last and everyone and everything in the world first. So living from there, I was not my priority. Everyone else was, which led to my nervous system, my autonomic nervous system, being really jacked and really living in a state of either sympathetic activation, which is fight or flight, adrenaline, all the time, worried, anxious. What's happening? Do people like me? Do people think I'm enough? Am I good enough? Are they pleased with me enough? Or something called dorsal freeze, which is the opposite state of the nervous system, which is shut down to the world, shut down to my feelings, sort of people pleasing to get through, but really disconnected. And so that was part and parcel of my getting sick, staying sick, and not really being able to heal. And so having been a primary care provider for a decade, having had a very successful functional medicine clinic in Manhattan on occupied Lenape land, I really started to see that the thing that was keeping my patients sick was the same thing that was keeping me sick. And the only way to really get to the root cause was through coaching and through really working with the body as well as the mind. And so I brought it all together for me, and now I bring it to the world.
Dang.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's been a good
Dang.
time.
The way that you
Mic drop.
describe the dorsal freeze and the constant state of like hyper attention of like worried and stressed and anxious and all this, I know that that is a switch that gets flipped for a lot of listeners. Like I feel like those are my two most dominant states. But if you asked me, and this is interesting, and it'll take us into our, I hope, what is going to be a really fertile conversation of, if you ask me, Lindsay, are you codependent? I would say no. So why don't we go into like, what is that? Like, how do we know if we are in that state? Because I think this will be interesting for people to hear.
Such a great question. Yeah, because I'll also add, for me, for years, I was like, codependent. Absolutely not.
What?
That's like a Midwestern soccer mom whose husband is an alcoholic. And like, I had all these stories about who it was, who I am not. And those stories really kept me from getting well, right? From getting help, from finding a system of care that really worked for me. And I never found one, so I created one, right? But anyway, so I define codependent thinking as chronically and habitually sourcing our sense of wellness, worth, and validity from everyone and everything outside of ourselves instead of from within. It is an externalized way of living in which we live outside of presence because we don't think we're worthy of having our own backs. And so unwittingly, in response to our environment, our socialization, our conditioning, our family blueprint, we self-abandon chronically and put all of our focus on everything other than us because we don't think we're worthy even of us paying attention to us, right? And so then that leads to the experiences of perfectionism, right? Because we have to be perfect so everyone will know that we're worthy of love, that we're okay, that we're good enough, that we're smart enough, right? And people pleasing because same, right? If other people think we're okay, then maybe, just maybe, we're worthy of the air we breathe. We're worthy of having an opinion. We're worthy of taking up space, right? Probably not, but maybe. So we try to keep everyone really pleased with us. I call,
Go ahead.
But I call this sort of collection, this a constellation of experiences, emotional outsourcing, because I think it way better encapsulates the experience than the word codependent. I think it's lost its, right? It's lost its vibe. Like we don't even really, it doesn't mean codependent, right? It's lost its spark. And so emotional outsourcing to me expresses that whole way of looking at the world and our own selves and our bodies and our wellness.
Yes. And I wanted to touch on that perfectionism piece one more time because
totally
the trap of perfectionism is that there's no end date to that. You're going to keep trying to perfect and tweak and adjust and fill in spots here and there and take away things from others to make it perfect, and that doesn't exist. So what you're actually doing is, before you even start, you're setting yourself up for disappointment. You're setting yourself up to repeat this cycle of, I'm not good enough. See, I couldn't do it. I'm not good enough. There's no end date, really. There's no destination to perfectionism. It's just so insidious and gross. And yet,
here we are. Here we are.
So this is also interesting, because I'm hearing a lot of similarities with myself, except for, and maybe I'm just not self-aware, but except for the people-pleasing piece. Like, I'm not super into that. And I would like to think I have my own back in a lot of situations, but the piece that really speaks to me is the perfection. Like, I definitely am recovering from that. And I know full well going into it that I'm not going to be satisfied, and I do it anyway. We just do it anyway. We try.
Well, right. I mean, so what that is it's an experience in the nervous system called reenactment. And so our nervous system is attempting to recreate an experience from the past with the hope and the dream that this time, it'll turn out differently. Right. And so we do that around perfectionism and doing tasks or projects. We do that around dating. I mean, hi, who hasn't dated one of their parents or the other? Right. Like, I can look back and be like, oh, snap. That person had these 12 characteristics of my dad that I was trying to fix, or my mom. Right. And it's what nervous systems do when they're sort of left to their own devices. Right. When we're not in presence, when we're not in consciousness, the nervous system will just repeat and reenact ad nauseum. So the perfectionism never works, but maybe it'll work this time.
Right.
What a trap.
And I love how how you redefined it, as you said, emotional outsourcing. Because I think a lot of people think of codependency as, I'm super dependent on other people, or that person needs that person to survive, or whatever it is, like in a very literal sense, right? But it's so much more than that, and sometimes so different from that. Like, what I've noticed for myself and clients and people in my life, where they get really stuck in codependency, is that they need to regulate everyone around them in order for themselves to feel emotionally regulated. So if they can't stand strong in their mood and their vibration and their thoughts and how they're feeling, they don't know where they end and the other begins. It's like, the only way I can feel safe, the only way I can feel peace, is if everyone around me is regulated. And the only way to ensure that everyone around me is cool, calm, and collected is for me to give them whatever they need, whatever they want, whatever I can be, to control how they feel, to control how I feel, because I can't control how I feel when I'm around these people and they feel
crap, Kels.
unregulated.
I do that. Now I know what you're talking about.
I believe most people, even myself included, do this to varying degrees, right? And for me, living with my fiance, like living with another human who is very sensitive, very emotional. His energy goes out a lot. Like, when I'm in a mood, I go in, he goes out, right? And he's also 6'7", and he has a very strong presence. So I mean, it's impossible to ignore like how he is feeling, his vibe, his mood, whatever's going on, right? So my practice has been, okay, I'm gonna let him do his thing. I'll be over here. I'm going to watch my show. I'm going to read my book. Like, that's not mine. As much as I want to help him and support him and, be there for him when he needs me, it's not my job to fix how he's feeling. And it's not my job to match his mood, So that's something that's helped me. And hopefully can help everyone listening.
Right. Yeah. And I think the point there that for me really resonates so strongly is the mood matching. Because we get into this false belief, right, that if we take on someone else's mood, their energy, their nervous system state, that we're somehow like sharing the load or sharing the burden. Like, we believe that we're being supportive, but we're really just creating more chaos. And we're really being manipulative, and we don't realize it, right? It's unwittingly manipulative.
Yeah. Can we talk more about how like how when you are super codependent, how it is manipulative? Because I've heard this from a teacher that I really love, Teal Swan. She says that codependents and narcissists are actually like kind of the same, because they're both super manipulative in order to get what they need.
Yeah,
Can
I think we need to
you-
be, as a clinician, I think we need to be
Yeah.
really careful with the word narcissist. So
Yeah.
like it's very hashtag popular. The way everyone's like diagnosing themselves with ADHD from Instagram. You know what I
Right.
mean? And I think we just the whole framework of diagnosis is very complicated and is deeply embedded in and is part and parcel of white settler colonialism, capitalism, late stage capitalism and the patriarchy. And I think it really behooves us to be just really thoughtful and really careful when we are throwing diagnoses. And I think I just say that because I've worked in primary care for so long. And a true narcissist, like someone with actual narcissistic personality
Right.
disorder,
Not
it's
someone
really
who
rare.
just acts narcissistic sometimes, and then people say, "Oh, my ex was a narcissist," even though they
The way you
probably
think
actually
people
and I
are
weren't.
think-
talking about it, you'd think there's a narcissist, more narcissist than there are Starbucks in Los Angeles. Like you'd think they were
right?
they're
New York
everywhere.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like cucarachas per the internet.
Yes.
But in fact, it's a pretty rare and pretty serious personality disorder. So I also think we use it to buffer against feelings. Like it is a way to not look at our own shit, to say, oh, my ex was just like a narcissist. And it's like, is
Mhm.
that real? Or were you part
Mhm.
and parcel of this and you just don't want to look at it?
Girl,
Do you have
speak.
wounding? I will, right? Do you have wounding from your own childhood? And are you bringing your own issues to the table and are not looking at it? And so you're throwing a diagnosis at someone else instead of looking at your own shit. Right? And why
Somebody
don't we
had
look
to
at our
say
own
it.
shit? Right? Somebody had to say it. And I will say it really loudly because I think we can use all this like hashtag white wellness shit to like really cover up a lot of to our shadow, right? And to spiritually bypass and emotionally bypass. And I am personally 0.0% here for it. It
Mhm.
doesn't serve us. It doesn't serve anyone. The one thing it does serve is the lack of capacity we have in our nervous system to be real.
Word.
Mhm.
Right. So being real is really, really, really scary when our nervous systems are not attuned to it and don't have the capacity to go there. And I never want to diminish that. I never want to write that off. That's not like whatever, you just don't have capacity in your nervous system. Like that's some serious shit to not have capacity in your nervous system. Right. Like, and where capacity in your nervous system means the ability to regulate. So if you go into sympathetic, which is fight or flight, and you're panicky and you're worked up and you're freaked out and you're worried and you don't know, and you're full of adrenaline and you don't know how to bring your nervous system back down, right? You are dysregulated.
Yes.
So too, if you fall into dorsal, into freeze, and you're depressed and checked out and disconnected and you just
zoned out.
wait,
Numb.
what? All right, what? I'm sorry, I
s-
was in dorsal. I just what?
I'm gonna say
And
this to my
you don't know
husband
how to
next
bring
time.
yourself
I was in
up.
dorsal. I apologize. I saw a
For
therapist
reals though.
who asked me what I did to relax. And I said, well, I like to, after work, I like to watch TV and stuff. And he goes, but is that relaxing or is that checking out? And I had never heard anybody say this to me.
Yeah.
But the
Yeah.
second it came out of his mouth, I was like,
Yep.
how have I not seen that this is exactly what's
Yeah.
happening? We don't know
Right.
until we know. You know what I mean?
No, of course. Of course. And you know what? Checking out isn't bad when it's conscious.
Right.
In the nervous
When
system
you
world, we call
know
it
that's
conscious
what you're doing.
distraction. Right. You make a choice. I make that choice, right? Like I was just leading a retreat for 4 days in New York City. And there was a point, probably Saturday at like 3 a.m., where I was like, I'm gonna check right out for like 10 minutes. And I watched cat videos on my phone. And I knew what I was doing. I was like, I need my brain off. Right. But I
Yeah.
didn't need to go into presence because I had been living from my heart for days leading this. And I just needed brain off, brain off.
Yeah.
But it was a very
Yes.
conscious, intentional choice, which I can make now and I couldn't make before because I didn't have the capacity in my nervous system. Right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So again, to put a bow on it, we throw the narcissist at someone. We say, oh, they're a controlling narcissist because we don't have the ability in our nervous system to live life differently. So it's not a diss. I'm not throwing shade. I'm not blaming. I'm not guilting. We just need to build the capacity to say, you know what? I really showed up in that relationship in a way concurrent with my childhood and what I learned there. And it's not the way I want to show up anymore. It wasn't loving. It wasn't kind. It wasn't good for me. It wasn't good for the person I was dating. I was mean. I was manipulative. I was whatever. And find the space in our nervous system to live from the realness instead of throwing shade at others.
Living
Holy
from the
shit.
realness. I like that.
Right?
Live from the
Yeah.
realness. 2023.
Live from the realness.
Wicked
Never a better
realness.
time to live more real.
Wicked realness. I love it. Right? Because what else, so the essential human task, my mentor Armand says this, the essential human task is to live from our full open heart.
Mm-hmm.
And like that is only possible when our nervous system is regulated.
Right.
And when we're living from our, yeah.
Oh, no, I was going to say, which I want to get into. Like, how can we create more space in our nervous systems? Even just thinking about it makes me more relaxed.
Right?
Honestly, did you hear me take that deep breath when I went
did.
All
into
of
it?
my muscles
sigh.
my muscles relaxed. I was like, this is nice.
Yeah, I want to get into that for
it.
people because, the world is a busy place. Our lives are very busy. There's a lot that can fuck up our shit. You know what I mean? And
to put it eloquently.
yeah, basically.
The world fucks up our shit.
Yeah, I mean there's a lot of stuff that can come
using.
in and fuck you up.
Right.
So it's like,
girl,
how can we regulate? How can we get in front of it? Or if we're too late to get in front of it, how can we heal from it? I really want to go into that. But first,
it's actually not that far off, Kels, because what we're going to talk about is actually a great way to do that.
This is a good segue. Yeah.
So we have
a sponsor.
I love a good segue.
Yes. We have a sponsor that we want to mention real quick called Magic Mind. Have you ever drank this magical drink before, Victoria?
Sure. No, case.
No, okay, we'll tell you about it. We're going to tell everyone about it.
Tell me all about it.
So basically, it's a little bit of matcha, correct? Correct me if I'm wrong, Lindsay. It's a little bit of matcha. We got a little bit of mushroom magic. We got a little bit of some vitamins, some minerals, like all kinds of magical things.
Lion's mane.
To help you be regulated, focused, and energized all at the same time. So instead of, or in conjunction with your morning coffee, it's a really beneficial tool to help you focus, help you stay productive, help you be energized, but not be like wired off the rails. So I actually did drink my little Magic Mind shot this morning. Before I went to the gym, and I'm still feeling good. I'm still feeling focused. They say it gives you 7+ hours of this focus and energy, which I would attest to. I would say I feel a good steady energy the whole day when I use it.
I'm not going to lie to you. I bought another like 30-day supply because this is one of the very few things that, first of all, they gave me permission to drink coffee with it. So that's a yes for me immediately. Don't tell me to drink it instead. It's not happening. I need it. I need both. So it doesn't, I'm not going to say it's not disgusting. What I will say is it's actually really good because
it tastes very sweet to me.
Most green things, again, not having it, but this is actually very enjoyable. I don't need anything else. I just take the little green thing. And here's what I want to say. I can notice a difference between the days that I forget to drink it and the days that I don't forget. When I don't forget and I actually drink it, have my coffee, set myself up for the day, I just feel better. And I don't know if I can explain it better than that. I feel more focused. I feel more productive. There's so many good things in there. There's ashwagandha and choline and all these amazing ingredients that if you ask me what they all do, I couldn't tell you, but I know lion's mane is good for brain health and mental focus. And I need more of that all day, every day. So it's a yes for me. I love this stuff so much. Like truly, I bought extra because I'm going to be sad when it's gone.
And we have a coupon code for you guys.
Yes, we have a coupon code.
So just go to magicmind.co and the coupon code is HighVibin20. So HighVibin20, you'll get a discount. If you subscribe, you save even more. So that's a good option. But yeah, check out Magic Mind. We love it. And we think you guys will love it too. Moving on back to our conversation.
Now, Victoria, you can use the coupon if you want to.
Yeah, you can use our coupon code. We have all the coupon codes. If you ever need a suggestion for anything, if you ever need a little discount, we got you, girl. We got all the good coupon codes.
Thank you.
But yeah, so
that's cute. I do love a deal.
Yes, Magic Mind.
You were asking.
We love it. I was asking about creating more space.
Regulating
space.
So there's two ways to interact with the nervous system. And I think this is the nuance that's lost with the hashtag polyvagal or whatever people are up to these days. There is a wild difference between calming the nervous system and healing the nervous system. They are both
Yes.
equally important. They are equally valid, and they are for two different moments with two different purposes. And so calming the nervous system is really important. You show up at LAX and you think your flight's at Terminal 1. I don't know if they're numbers or letters. And then like 5 minutes before boarding, they're like, haha, JK, you're now at Terminal 473. And you need
That
to
has
book it
happened to
over
me. That has happened to
there,
me.
right? Seriously, it's happened to all of us, right? And so you feel your heart go and like clench in your chest. Your palms get sweaty. Everything starts racing. Your vision sort of narrows. And you're like, I gotta run. You get all adrenaline. And that's when you spill your coffee, knock your bag over, leave your sweater, right? Nothing good happens from urgency. Nothing. Zero things, right? Like I've worked in the ER. It is not an urgent place if it is run well, right?
Mm.
Really well run like ER sounds like, hi, my patient in bed 3 is bleeding out. Can you come put a chest tube in, please? Nothing good happens from urgency. So we need
Yes.
to learn how to.
Grey's
And that's
Anatomy
when
lied to me.
Yeah, baby. Grey's Anatomy did, in fact, lie to you.
But every
It's
ER
true.
I've ever been to is truly a calm place, to the point where
Yeah,
people are like, why am I still waiting? Because clearly you guys aren't busy. But in fact, it's probably just that they are taking it. If it were as urgent as you'd like it to be, nothing would get done and you'd be waiting twice as long.
exactly. Because urgency leads to more problems.
I love that so much.
Right?
Yes.
Whereas a calm, collected nervous system means you get from bleeding out to a chest tube in under 10 seconds and you don't puncture someone's lung, right? Like everything's like in the wrong way. You're puncturing their lung with a chest tube, but like not in
Yeah.
the wrong way, right? Like
the
you're
right
doing
way.
it in the right way. In the right way. You're not spilling your coffee, leaving your sweater and knocking your bag over and spilling your purse everywhere, which is what happens when you're full of adrenaline because you don't have good hand-eye coordination. You don't have good short twitch muscle fiber function. Like you don't have the science to do life the way you want and need to. Same is true with dorsal. When we're checked out, we're not lifing the way we want to life, right?
Yes.
We're too slow to meet life. We're too checked out. That's when we people please so hard, usually from dorsal. So how I know I'm in other than feeling jacked up or feeling shut down, how I know just listening that myself or one of my clients is in sympathetic is because sympathetic is I have to run, I have to go, I have to say no, I have to. And dorsal is I can't. Oh, I can't change my diet. I can't go there. I can't tell her no. I can't set a boundary. I can't. I'm in dorsal around it. And so when we are in one of those acute states and we have to life because we are adults who have to life, that's when we use the calming. That's when we use the energizing. So the deep breath in and a long slow out brings us into ventral vagal, the calm, safe, and social part of the nervous system from which we can change terminals or put a chest tube in without a problem, right? We can set a boundary. We can meet ourselves and others and can relate with love from our authenticity. Yeah?
Word.
Woo.
Deep breath never healed nobody. Just let me be real clear, right? Like it is a beautiful reset. It is a calming thing. It can help us to recognize, okay, I need to bring a little activation into my nervous system. And I'll teach a really great tool that we can use to help shift our nervous system state. That is, if we are in sympathetic and we want to come to ventral, or we're in dorsal checked out and we want to come to ventral, safe and social. So you take your little paw. Y'all want to do it with me? And then the Patreon folks
Yes.
get to watch. Okay. You take your perfect little paw and you're going to take your thumb and you're going to tap each of your fingers. Okay. And so we're going to do it really slowly if we're in sympathetic. So you're going to tap your thumb to your first finger and you're going to say 1. And sympathetic is the revved up. You're going to tap your New York finger and say 2, your ring finger and say 3, your pinky and say 4. And you're going to come back. You're going to go even slower the next round. 4, 3, New York 2, index 1. And then you're going to keep going back while you feel your nervous system calm the fuck down, right? And you're just going to keep doing that while breathing in, long, slow out. Okay. So then you say you're checked out. You're in a conversation with your boss, with your partner, with your best friend, with your mom, and you're like, I did not hear the words she saying. No, heard not, because out checked. What English? Don't knowing. Just don't. I was in a not great marriage, and that's very generous of me to say not great. And that person had a terrible temper and would get really loud and aggressive and mean, and I couldn't hear a word they said. In the moment and after, I just no memory, just completely checked out, because my nervous system was like, this is really dangerous and I don't want you here. So I was sitting there, but I wasn't in the room. There was no presence, right? As a really beautiful protective mechanism that I'm now really grateful for, right? Though it was scary and weird and disconcerting in the moment and made me think there was something wrong with me, but there wasn't, right? There's nothing wrong with me. So if you want to be able to be more present in a moment where you're checked out, particularly if those moments were unsafe, but in a moment that's actually safe, you're talking to a loving partner, a loving friend, and you want to be present. You tap your thumb to your first finger, 1, New York, 2, ring, 3, pinky, 4, 4, 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 3, 2, 1, 1, 3. You start bringing a little activation into the nervous system, right? A little, okay, I can be here. I can be here. I can be here. It's safe to be here. I can be here. And I like to pair it with the thought that you want to feed into your mindset. I can be here. It's safe to be here. Right. And those are ways that we can help to shift our nervous system state.
Hey there. We hope you're enjoying this episode so far, but if you want to listen to the whole thing, we're going to invite you over to our podcast. Either search for High Vibing It on iTunes, Spotify, wherever you guys listen to podcasts, or even better, if you want to watch the extended video version of this episode that's even longer than the actual podcast itself, head over to our Patreon at patreon.com/highvibe. Lindsay, tell them what's awesome about the Patreon.
Patreon is where we have all of our extended episodes. As Kelsey said, we have it on video, so you can actually see the things that we're talking about. Sometimes we have visual aids, and it's nice to know what we're talking about. We also have hangouts that we do sometimes that are exclusive to Patreon people. And you can get started with all of this and bonus content and everything that we have only for the Patreon people for as little as $3. I think it's $3.33 a month. And that's it. And you guys can get all the benefits and all access to everything that we put in there. Really cool.
It's really cool, really fun, super easy to join. And you guys don't even have to do that to finish this episode. If you're like, screw it, I don't want to pay any money, I just want to hear the rest of this episode, go to our podcast, High Vibing It, search for it wherever you listen. It's totally free. Either way, enjoy the rest of the show wherever you choose to enjoy it. And we will see you guys next week because we do a new one every week. Adios.
Bye.